Well, Sonos Ace certainly has some tough competition. As you can see, I've got some of the best here, which I've been comparing against Sonos Ace to provide some performance benchmarks. So let's see how these stand up in testing. Hey guys, Louis here from Smart Home Sounds, and if you're new, welcome. Now, as we've been so involved in the Sonos community over the years, we know just how long some of you have waited for these. So, we want to make sure that we fully test them out for you, and we'll have more in-depth comparisons coming very soon, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't already to catch all of those. Now, in this review, I'm going to cover 3 big questions. Number 1, what are these like as regular headphones? Number 2, what are they like as headphones within the Sonos ecosystem? And finally, number 3, would I recommend these over the competition? Plus, we've got a professional Dolby Atmos mixer to test them out and share his thoughts, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Now, as you'd expect for a £449 pair of headphones, these definitely have a premium design and feel to them. Now, the headphones themselves are really well built, from the stainless steel headband to the hidden hinge to the vegan leather memory foam cushions. Now, they have a really nice matte finish with a laser-etched Sonos logo on the right ear cup and are supposed to be anti-fingerprint, which is true for the white, but I have noticed that the black ones do get some finger marks on them, similar to the Sony XM5s. Now, the ear cups are very slimline, giving them a neat look on your head, and I think that they stick out the least of any of the premium headphones in this category. Now, while the AirPods Max might feel slightly more premium with their metal finish, these are definitely less bulky. They sit close to your ears but don't touch them, and I'm happy to have a closer fit for a more slimline look. I'm really glad that Sonos went for physical buttons on these headphones, and they're ergonomically placed, easy to find and quick to learn. So, for example, on the right ear cup, we've got our volume up, volume down, play pause, our ANC modes button, and then on the left ear cup, we've got our power on and Bluetooth button. They also have wear detection, pausing automatically when you take them off and letting you answer calls by putting them on, which is pretty cool. These ear cups are magnetic, making them easy to clean, and I know that vegan leather can be a little bit like Marmite, but it does mean that they can be wiped clean, so anyone who wears makeup can go for the white pair and not worry about keeping them white. Plus, the removable cups mean that you can replace them if needed, and I believe that the replacement cups will be available for £49. I love this contrasting colour inside the right cup, which helps you to tell which way to wear them, and in particular, I'm a big fan of the green with the white headphones, which you can also get in the case. Now, the case itself, even though it's fairly wide, is so slim that it's easy to slip into a bag without taking up too much space. It's much more compact than the XM5 case, and let's not even mention the AirPods Max case. Inside, there's a little magnetic pouch for the wires. Initially, I wasn't sure about it, but actually, I can see myself just taking this away with me to keep the cables safe if I don't want the whole case. Now, technically, these headphones don't have an IP rating and are therefore not tested to be water resistant. In fact, Sonos go as far as to say on their website that this unit is not waterproof. Avoid using in wet conditions. Now, this is not uncommon for premium headphones. The AirPods Max are the same, and I see a lot of people wearing them in the gym. I tested these with a few workouts and a 5K run, and I would have complete confidence using them for a light gym session where you know that you're not going to be sweating too much. But while they were comfy to run in, especially with how light they feel, after around about 4K, I noticed a build-up of sweat on the ear cups. Now, it was easy enough to wipe it clean and like the AirPods Maxes, but I was still a little bit conscious about getting them too sweaty as there's no IP rating. Overall, I like the design. They feel premium and very Sonos, and I like how they look on my head. Now, I do think that design is of course subjective, and part of me prefers the metal finish and colorways of the AirPods Max, but I appreciate the simplicity of these, and the slim profile of the ear cups definitely puts these above the Bose Quiet Comfort Ultras and Sony XM5s on looks alone for me. Now, comfort is huge for me with headphones. They could be the best sounding cans in the world, but if they aren't comfy, I don't want them. Now, Sonos say that they have a mechanism in the ear cup that adjusts to equalize pressure and create a better acoustic seal. I have to say, these are probably the best fitting headphones that I've tried. They sit nicely on your head with enough clamping to give a good fit and really good sound isolation, even without ANC, but they don't clamp too much. Nothing like the pressure that you get with something like the Bowers & Wilkins PX7s. I will point out that the glasses wearers in our office found them okay, but after an hour or so felt some pressure behind the ears. From my my experience wearing these for hours on end over the last few weeks, they are really comfy and up there with the very best that I've tested. They're absolutely more comfortable than the AirPods Max, which is mainly down to them feeling lighter on the head, 312 grams compared to the AirPods Max's 384 grams. Now, I've not really experienced any ear fatigue and often forget that I've got them on my head, which is mad. So a big tick in the comfort box with these. So I'm happy with the look and the fit, but how do they sound? Well, Sonos have gone for a pair of custom designed 40mm dynamic drivers, which is the same size drivers as the AirPods Max, but larger than the Quiet Comfort Ultras at 35mm and XM5's 30mm drivers for context. Now, these can be set up with Bluetooth straight out of the box. They support Bluetooth 5.4 and multi-point pairing, so you don't actually need to use the Sonos app at all if you don't want to. Multi-point works seamlessly on these, and I've had no issues with connectivity. It's also worth noting if your connected Bluetooth device has a built-in voice assistant, then you can activate it using the noise control button on the right ear cup and then use your voice to skip track or play a specific playlist, for example. You do also get a USB-C to 3.5mm cable and USB-C to USB-C cable included in the box, so you can listen to these headphones wired if you want to. They do support lossless audio over USB-C, or if you have an Android device that includes Qualcomm Snapdragon Sound aptX for lossless, then you can get lossless audio over Bluetooth. It's not available when connected to an iOS device via Bluetooth. Sonos Ace also supports spatial audio and Dolby Atmos and has the option to toggle on dynamic head tracking. Personally, I don't love head tracking for music, but it is a cool feature and for the right track can create a super immersive experience. For those who want to get the most out of the headphones, the Sonos app now has a section for headphones and a number of settings including EQ adjustments, ANC, spatial audio and more. Oh, and also, the Sonos app can connect to Sonos Ace over Bluetooth, so you don't need to be on your Wi-Fi anymore to access settings, which is why they will have needed that new Sonos app. Okay, let's give you guys a listen then. Now, I'll be using our binaural mic, which should give you guys a good idea of what these headphones are like, but remember, it's never going to sound exactly like what they do on your head.
All of your defenses gone at the end. Just holding on.
Okay, there we go. Hopefully that gave you all a good flavour of how Sonos Ace sound. Now, before I share our thoughts from testing, I thought that we could hear from a true professional. So we asked Kurt Martinez, head Dolby Atmos mixer at Dean Street Studios in London, his opinions on Sonos Ace. Now, for context, he currently uses the Apple AirPods Max as reference headphones for his mixes, but he had the chance to test out Sonos Ace and even use them on his latest mix for Central C. So let's see what he had to say.
What's kind of been your initial thoughts after testing them out for a couple of days?
I really like them. I think the noise cancelling is up there with some of the best I've heard. Like it's ridiculous. And I think in terms of sound, you know, like listening back to Atmos on both Apple Music and Amazon, there's an incredible amount of depth and space, which is exactly what you want from a spatial mix.
Yeah.
It feels good. And yeah, I was really impressed from the off. I find the low end is really exaggerated.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it was, you know, like listening to them for the first time or just because I just listened to, you know, some headphones I was used to.
Yeah.
It felt like a big jump around, you know, the 100, 200 hertz area. When listening back to things that I'm used to, I've ended up actually just nudging the treble, I think 2 notches, and it's put it into a, you know, where it kind of balances it out for me. I can listen to it flat, absolutely, but I think there's just that low end for a lot of what I listen to in terms of rock and pop punk and stuff. It almost loses that punch for me.
How have you found the other elements of the audio besides the bass?
I really like it. I really like being able to listen to a lot of the Atmos content. Feels really nice. Vocals feel present. You know, the things that are out and in the room feel like they're out and around your head.
Any kind of major comparisons, anything you've really noticed difference sound quality wise between the Sonos Ace and the AirPods Maxes?
I think in terms of quality overall, I think they're if not identical, they're very, very close.
If you want to hear more from Kurt, then we'll be sure to share our full chat very soon. Now, first and foremost, these are very capable headphones. Whether you're listening to stereo or spatial, they have a great tonality and an enjoyable sound profile. And I agree that they are sitting pretty much on par with the AirPods Max. It's really splitting hairs between them. I also agree that with certain genres like rock, for example, the bass can be a little overpowering, but it's nice and easy to dial that back to your preference with the EQ adjustments in the app. Now, that's not to say that the bass is boomy. It's nice and tight, just maybe a little pronounced for some in certain tracks or genres. But for most of the music that I've tested them with, I've loved the balance. Peggy Goo's Lobster Telephone with the kick drum at the start is super impressive, and it sits as you would want it for that kind of dance track. And actually, when I went from Sonos Ace to the likes of the AirPods Max or XM5s or even the Quiet Comfort Ultras, they felt like they were almost missing an element of the track. But you can then flick to something like Leon Bridges' River, which is a simple orchestral and vocal track, and Sonos Ace handled it all very well there too. I've also tested them with podcasts where again, they've performed really well. You get nice warm vocals and good clarity in the vocals in mid-range. I have also found them pretty immersive for that kind of content. It was almost like I was in the room with Stephen Bartlett for the conversation. World-class ANC is a bold claim from Sonos, especially with the competition out there, but I have to say that the noise cancellation is seriously impressive. Now, I was a little bit skeptical as it's all automatic and there's no way to adjust the ANC levels, but from testing, whether I'm sat in the office, out by a busy road or out and about in the wind, I've got to say that it's up there with the very best that I've tested. And again, the design of those physical buttons make it easy to switch between modes, but let's see what you guys think. What I'm going to do is just play some background coffee shop ambience for you, and I'm going to start with the headphones off so you can hear just how loud it is through the binaural mic. I'm then going to put the headphones onto the binaural mic and we're going to cycle through the different modes. So I'll start with noise cancellation off, then on, and we'll finish with aware mode. So, as you can hopefully tell from that test, the Sonos Ace are up there with the performance of the likes of Sony and Apple. There's also no audible hissing when the ANC is working, which is a personal bugbear of mine. The aware mode also impressed me, and this is something that I don't tend to use on other headphones. I'd rather just pause my music or take the headphones off, but I actually like how it works on these. One tap of a button and it does sound like everything around you is amplified, and I found myself using it a fair bit in the office. I always thought the AirPods Max are great for their aware mode, but I do think that the Sonos are just as good. Okay, so as you can tell, I'm outside right now testing the microphone quality on the Sonos Ace headphones. Now, it is quite busy where I am. There's lots of cars driving past. It is a little bit windy and we've got a very busy train station just over the other side of the road. So hopefully you can tell how these sound. My thoughts on the battery are pretty short and sweet. I haven't had to worry about the battery life at all. Now, I have been using them on and off, and besides testing the 3-minute quick charge feature, which works brilliantly, I've not needed to charge them yet. 30 hours is plenty for multiple days use for me on and off, and it's great that that's with ANC on as well, as I like to have that on pretty much all of the time that I'm using them. It's longer than the AirPods Max, the Bose Quiet Comfort Ultras, and on par with the Sony XM5s and Bowers & Wilkins PX7s. Now, if you're not interested in how these work for movies with Sonos or for gaming, then feel free to skip ahead to my final verdict, as I'm now going to be answering the question, how do these work as Sonos headphones? First things first, these don't work in the way that a lot of Sonos users hoped for or expected them to work, and that includes us. Now, we imagined a pair of Sonos headphones would work as another zone in your home, making the most of Sonos's well-established roots in creating a home ecosystem over Wi-Fi, but that's not the case. The only connection to your Sonos system is via a Sonos soundbar, specifically one of these Sonos soundbars, and only the Arc from launch, with support for the others coming soon. Now, we did reach out to Sonos and asked why is Sonos Ace not a full part of the Sonos system, and why aren't they offering Wi-Fi connectivity, and the response we got was pretty interesting. We explored connectivity with the full Sonos system and determined the overall experience wouldn't meet people's expectations for seamless on-the-go listening with headphones. For example, if you leave your Wi-Fi network to go for a walk, your audio content would drop out. Additionally, Wi-Fi connectivity would cause significant limitations to the battery life for headphones. We'll continue to learn how customers are using Sonos Ace and fine-tune the experience over time. Now, do I still wish Sonos Ace was more integrated into my Sonos system? Yes. Do I think they had an opportunity to differentiate themselves in the market with what they do best? Also yes. And do I understand now why they've not done that? With that context, yeah, I get the limitations headphone streaming over Wi-Fi would give, and the drain on battery would clearly be an issue. But do I think there's a chance that we could see more of an integrated connection down the line? Yes. But for now, I can show you guys how they will work with your TV audio, which a lot of you in the comments were very keen to know. Now, we will be doing an in-depth walkthrough of this in a future video too for you guys, as it's a lot to cram into one review. Now, to clear up a few questions, you can have two Sonos Ace headphones paired with one soundbar, so it will remember the connection, but you can't listen to two at once. Also, the sound from the soundbar is sent to your headphones, not played simultaneously, so this is very much for a personal listening experience. Now, it was super straightforward to set up in the app, and it works almost instantly when you swap the audio, which you can do either in the app or by pressing the content key on the headphones. But let's give you guys a listen.
I have no intention to leave my work unfinished. Down right now. Where do we start? Buck, I have a plan. Oh yeah? What is it? Is you ready?
Here we go again, huh?
You've been running hard on the job. Can't take that from me.
So hopefully, as you can tell, the experience for Atmos movies is super immersive on the headphones. There is some very clever technology working in the soundbar to create a spatial audio mix to send to the headphones. This gives you a surround sound experience if you're watching content with surround sound, or Atmos audio if it's in stereo sound, and then you'll get a virtualized stereo mix. It's all been designed to add immersion without feeling super closed into your ears. You can take it further by toggling dynamic head tracking on. And that means that if you turn to the side, for example, the sound still sounds like it's coming from the source, like the TV. From testing, this was a super immersive experience. And actually, before reviewing the headphones, I couldn't really see why I would need to wear headphones to watch a film when I've got a soundbar. But having tested it, if you were watching a film alone, then this gives a super personal cinema experience. And as the sound is so spacious, I've not felt the need to take the headphones off for a break. Again, I've almost forgotten that they're there. In testing, we noticed that the volume was a little bit quieter than we would have liked for TV audio. Where we've had the volume at around 50% for music, we needed 100% for TV audio. But we have reached out to Sonos, who have shared that they are aware of that, and it will be solved in an upcoming software update. Now, considering how impressed we've been with the current performance, that final bump in volume will take it to another level. It's easy to see how it's all working in the app, but my preferred use is to just tap the button. How it all works is just super nice and simple. It's just a bit like the Apple Vision Pro for me. I wouldn't sit there with my headphones on if someone else was around, but for the times when I'm alone and want to be quiet, then this is something that I would really look forward to. Now, I've also tested these out for gaming, as quite a lot of you asked about that. And when gaming with a wired connection, it all works seamlessly. I've played a variety of games, including Call of Duty, FIFA, and more, and simply plugged straight into the controller with the USB-C to jack lead, and it worked right away. You're still able to use the headphones as usual, so ANC mode still adjusts as normal, as do volume controls and everything else. And it offers an immersive gaming experience, especially when it comes to first-person shooting games like Call of Duty. It's really simple to use these wirelessly too, so if you're gaming over the Arc, then you just hold the content key and the audio sends to your headphones. I've not noticed any latency in my testing either. A lot to test and a lot to cover, so let's go back to my original 3 questions. Number 1, what are these like as regular headphones? Well, I think Sonos haven't just entered the headphone market with Sonos Ace. I think they're after the crown, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this ruffles feathers. I think they absolutely compete with some of the market leaders. Sound quality is up there, ANC, battery, comfort, usability, all consistently delivered. They might not be head and shoulders above the rest, but even marginal improvements is no small achievement in a very competitive space. Number 2, what are they like as Sonos headphones? Well, they might not be as integrated into the Sonos ecosystem as some of us had hoped for, and for that reason, they might not be Sonos enough for you. I can understand that, and I can also understand their reasons for these not being fully integrated. I don't think they set out to appeal only to Sonos users, and therefore they've made sure that they work well for a wider use case. But for anyone with one of the compatible Sonos soundbars, I think you'll really like what they've done with the TV sound swap, and we're really excited to see what comes in the future. Finally, number 3, would I recommend them over the competition? Well, we think there will be some dividing reviews over these headphones, mainly around the pros and cons of its current integration into the Sonos ecosystem. But as standalone headphones and ecosystem aside, these deliver. So where does that leave us with the competition? Well, having tested all of these side by side, if you gave me £450 and said pick one, then I think I would go for the Sonos Ace. Now, yes, I could wait to see what the AirPods Max 2 would bring, but they'll likely be £500 plus, and likely just as heavy if they stick with that metal design. Now that leaves me personally looking at something like the Bose Quiet Comfort Ultras, which in the UK right now are also £449. And to be honest, the Sonos feel a more premium package all round. This is similar to the Sony XM5s, but those are a good option for someone not willing to part with £450. Now, if I was someone with one of these pairs of headphones on the table and wondering if I should swap, then no. I don't think there's any need to. These aren't going to be a big upgrade from what you already have, but if you are in the market for a premium pair of headphones, then I would 100% shortlist these, as I think you might be pleasantly surprised. But it's time to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.